I was sipping wine at this cocktail reception party when the Japanese ambassador arrived. It was the first day of the Japanese-Chilean Free Trade Agreement negotiations, and I was supporting the Chilean team by preparing materials for the talks. I walked up to the ambassador to introduce myself. Hajimemashite, watashi wa Goldfeld Malvina desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Surprised, he looked at me and asked, how come a young Chilean woman speaks Japanese so well? Well, where shall I start? Actually, I'm an Israeli born in Moldova, doing my undergrad degree in the States, now in a semester abroad in Chile. So, how did you end up on the Chilean delegation? Well, I had some spare time, so I emailed the Chilean Minister of Foreign Affairs, telling him that I'm in Chile for a few months and would love to intern at the ministry. Cold email. Warm reply. A few days later, I was interviewing at the ministry. This was not the answer the Japanese ambassador expected to hear. And I like that. I like not to be what people expect me to be, but rather do the things that I wanted to do and perhaps surprise some people along the way. A couple of years before that, I spent a summer living with a Japanese family in a small town on the west coast of Japan. Oto-san, my Japanese father, used to go fishing with his friends once in a while, and they would bring home the most delicious fish, which we then made sushi with. I really wanted to go, and I told him I want to join them one time. No way, he said. Students who previously stayed with them, even guys, got seasick on the boat before. It's not a good place for a woman. Well, now he got me. I was going to go at any cost. He realized that the only way to get rid of me would be to take me along. And so there we were, walking out of the house on our way to the boat. And he mentioned that we'll stop on our way at a pharmacy to get some medicine to make sure I don't get sick. I don't need any medicine. I'm strong. I'm not some wimpy American college kid. I'm an Israeli woman. I don't need any medicine. He shrugged his shoulders, probably thinking to himself about Western pride and stupidity. Rightfully so. During those 7 hours on a boat, stationary, at sea, at night, I thought I was going to throw up my guts and other internal organs a number of times. I was trying to breathe and focus on the horizon, which I could barely make out. I was telling myself that there is no way I'm going to throw up. I would rather take it all in and not let them think that they were right. I did not throw up. After that, I became one of the boys, so they started inviting me to join their men-only sake drinking pub nights. That was pretty awesome. What I learned from this experience is that the problem with letting people put you in a box because of your gender or your ethnic identity or any other category that you can tick on those optional information forms is that your behavior shifts to conform to their expectations. If I had believed Oto-san that my place is not on a boat, even if I still insisted on coming along, but then when I was on the boat, I would start getting sick, maybe I wouldn't care as much about letting them think that they were right or wrong, and I would throw up. And if that happened, maybe I would start thinking, yeah, fishing boats are not really for me. So the next time I try to do something difficult, maybe I would give myself a break and not even try. You see, you become a reflection of people's stereotypes. This is what I tell the girls that I mentor in a school in Bat Yam. Don't let anyone put you in a box and set your limits. Only you will do that for yourself. There's a study that was done at Harvard University where they took a group of young female Asian students, all good in maths. They divided those students into two groups, randomly. The only difference was some questionnaire that they had to fill out before taking the math test. One group was asked about their gender. The other group was asked about their ethnic identity. Then they took the test. Guess what the results were? The group that was asked about their ethnic identity did significantly better on the test than the group that was asked about their gender. We all know that Asians are great at math, right? Remember, these are all female Asian students at a top university. The fact is that one group was thinking of themselves as women when they were taking the test, and the other group was thinking of themselves as Asians while they were taking the test. I have more stories to tell. I can tell stories about being the only Russian immigrant girl in a school where the kids haven't met Russians before. Stories about being the only non-Asian working for a Vietnamese private equity firm, negotiating an investment in a shrimp farm in the Mekong Delta, probably the most traditional part of Vietnam. Stories about being one of the few women in the business and tech environments where I work, both in Israel and Africa. But these are all simplifications. They are labels we use to help us make sense of the world. I am none of these labels. And the way I handled these situations was not as a Russian or as a woman or whatever. I try to behave the way that Malvina wants to behave in those situations. And I try to judge people by their actions and words and their energy and what they hope to accomplish in life. I believe that the sum of all these reflects us much better than any category you can tick on a form. Thank you.